Yo, yo, yo. What up, peoples? What's going on? Sorry for the late start today. Some of my apps for the streaming stuff were not working. I had to test some stuff. Get some stuff figured out so that we had everything working correctly. Yeah, so started a bit late. Sorry. What's up, yo, Poison? Thanks for the raid, friendo. What's going on, guys? How you doing? How you doing? Happy flipping Monday. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I know that it's never super exciting for most people heading into Monday, but, you know, hopefully everybody had a great weekend. We'll have a good day today, as we always do, man. We've got video gaming news for August 7th. Today, we'll jump in there and see what's new in the world of video games, and then we'll, I don't know, dude. We might play Fallout New Vegas, because we've only done like 2 days of that. We might play another day of Remnant. My plan was to actually start WrestleQuest today, but apparently its release date is slated as today, but it doesn't actually release for like another, geez, probably about 16 hours or so, which is well beyond our time for streaming. So let's see here, how long till it releases? 16 hours. Yes, 16 hours. So we won't get to play it today. It'll be tomorrow that we start WrestleQuest, but probably just more Remnant. Probably more Remnant today. How you doing, Poison? What's up? How you doing, friendo? What were you streaming? Let's see here. There's a shout out for you. NASCAR Heat 5 again, huh? Yeah, nice. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be a good day, though. We'll have some fun. It'll be chill, as we always do. So let's go ahead and do what we do, man. Let's dive in here and get into this video gaming news stuff. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and kill the tunes there, and we'll see what's going on here with the video gaming news segment. Let's go. All right, what we got? Baldur's Gate 3 continues one annoying PC gaming trend. What? Let's see what this is. Looks like yesterday Baldur's Gate also breached the 800,000 concurrent players list on Steam. We knew it was going to get really high this weekend. Before the weekend, it was over 400,000, and I suspected it was going to get much, much higher over the weekend, and it has, for sure. Cool, Poison. Nice. So, I don't know. Let's see what Game Rant is trying to criticize them about, though. We'll see what that's about. Starfield download size and preload date revealed. Okay, take a look at this. Interesting. Looks like Radeon RX 7900 GRE graphics cards have started showing up inside pre-built PCs. Huh. We'll probably start seeing benchmarks come out on these. So we'll try to pay attention, look up some stuff here pretty soon, and see where these are stacking up against some of the other GPUs on the market. Yeah. Especially, you know, one of the big things for me and what I try to promote is obviously, you know, I mean, if you aren't limited to a budget, then you can go for the latest and greatest. But most people aren't in that scenario. Most people, you want to get the most bang for your buck. So what I tend to do is look at price versus performance benchmarking tools to show people like the best graphics cards that you can get into price point wise. And so that'll be something that we look into here for these 7900 cards from AMD as well. But we're going to need a little bit of time before they start showing up in some of these benchmarking sites and stuff. But we'll take a look once they do. Yep. And battle passes. Yeah. I don't think it's worth really diving. I mean, dude, we've talked about this kind of stuff again, a lot, whether it be battle passes or, transaction shops, especially anything that's pay to win. Pay to win, I'm absolutely against. The difference being, I am more accepting of developers implementing battle passes with a paid version of the battle pass, or even transaction shops, as long as it doesn't incorporate pay to win. I'm even kind of on the fence and sometimes okay with a little bit of like pay to progress faster. It just depends. But these games, these are incorporations that I see to be beneficial for free to play games. I understand where free to play games, the free to play has become a big thing for gaming, right? And I'm actually a proponent of it. I think it's great. It gives myself an opportunity to dive into games quite often with people, where we don't have to worry about the obstacle of everybody needing to buy the game, right? So getting to play games with the community for free to play games, that's amazing. But they have to make their money somewhere. So you have to be understanding that they're going to incorporate things like battle passes, paid cosmetics, maybe even some quality of life item things, depending on the genre of the game, stuff like that. Where it is not really acceptable, in my opinion, is one of the more recent games I saw this in was take something like Exo Primal coming out of Capcom. This was a game that they had been hyping up quite a bit. The core of the game felt okay. It felt decent enough, but it didn't feel like they really went for trying to focus on giving people a really solid long-term game to play. What they did was they pushed out a game with a AAA price point, unless you're playing it on a subscription service, because it was on Game Pass, or is on Game Pass. But it's just riddled with transactions. So $60 to $70 price point. Then you've got Battle Pass, and you've got just all kind, like you can buy characters in the game, you can buy cosmetics in the game, and it just feels gross. It feels gross, and not only that, but the gameplay that you were afforded in the game was very, very shallow. It got old really quick, and you could just tell that Capcom didn't have any kind of vision for that game, at least on release, for something to be a great experience gameplay wise for people. It was something that they developed to be good enough to garner attention, while also just putting as much cosmetic or as much transaction stuff in the game as they could. So not only did a lot of people have to pay AAA price point to get into the game, then you've got to pay a lot of extra for the additional stuff in the game. And that's where it gets really gross. I think that's where it's not really acceptable. We understand that free-to-play games need that income. They need somewhere to make profit to continue to work on their titles and to be profitable for the software they're pushing out and giving people a free access to it. But these companies pushing out games at a AAA price point, even a moderate price point, with lots of transactions, it's really, really, really gross. Sifu gets its last update, but it's a big one. Sifu's supposed to be a good game. Yo, we beat Remnant 2 yesterday, and we could potentially be playing it again today. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But we'll see how I'm feeling once I get to gameplay time. It's a banger. This game is amazing, and from what I've heard, the game has improved on most aspects from the first iteration, and that's what you want to see from a developer. Progression. Yeah. I've even noted I'm gonna have my review of the game. This is what I usually do with games I play. Whenever I beat them, I kind of talk about my experience with the game as we watch credits roll. I kind of give my review slash critique, break down pros and cons, and I'll push that out as like a video to be both on the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel as a ending video so people can see what the ending of the game entailed or the main part of the game entailed. I'll usually tag it with spoilers so people are aware that they'll be spoiled on some stuff if they haven't played the game. But I'll also include my review and critique and list pros and cons and my experience of the game as we watch credits and everything, and that'll be up soon. But they had a few things that needed to be addressed. I think that they got at least a chunk of the performance issues addressed in an early patch, which is great. Quite often, I mean, honestly, a lot of the time when a game gets released and it might have some kind of performance issue, you'll see a developer go, we're working on it, or they won't even tell you they're working on it, but they'll eventually finally push out a patch and you won't even feel the effects. They'll try to act like it's something that's supposed to be improving performance, but you won't even really feel like it improved anything at all. It'll be a list, a whole slew of things that they're saying they improved performance-wise, and you go play the game again and it felt like they didn't do anything. The Remnant 2 devs, man, they did a bang-up job. The game felt pretty solid on release. It had some frame drop issues here and there, and I noted that. That never feels good. That never feels good. And it wasn't something that was significant enough to skew my experience too much. But especially in a game like a shooter game, you really don't want to be dealing with frame drop. Any kind of action game, where the more frames you can have, the more stable frames you can have, the better. It doesn't feel good. But they got a patch out about 2.5 to 3 days ago, and it fixed a lot of the issues I was experiencing. After that patch, I got in the game, and my frames were stable the rest of my playthrough. Felt really good. And that's great. That's great. The game felt really good, but it did, on release, but it did have a few issues there. And from what I understand, it is an overall improvement on the first game. The first game was liked quite. I mean, from what I understand, most people enjoyed the first game quite a bit. And this, I think, just shows that they're doing it. They are progressing as a developer. Quite often we'll see developers that tend to try and get away with more than what they maybe got away with last time on a game release or something like that. And I truly believe that the Remnant devs, I think they're doing a bang up job. And I'm excited to see what content comes for this game later on. We know there's going to be more DLC for it and everything. We're talking about Gunfire, the developer, publisher Gearbox, right? Gunfire did a great job. The game released on 25 July, and as of, let's see, the patches, let me see this. 25 July, and by August 4th, they had the patch out that kind of got the game felt really good after that. So, pretty good in my opinion. Pretty good. And I can't recommend it enough, really. This is a weird. I was actually just talking about this with the community the other day about how many good games, like just good games, have been released this year, and then how many also just tragically terrible releases there have been as well over like the past year. It's insane. There have been a ton of terrible, terrible, terrible game releases where the games you couldn't even hardly experience the content in the game at all because the performance was so flippin' bad. And then we've had these other like magnificent games that have come our way. It's just, I mean, at this point, I can already see a handful of games that should be in the running for game of the year right now. Um, and we've still got 4.5, 5 months left before the year's up and awards are going to be given out. So it's kind of an odd scenario when you think about it, that we've got these bang up games coming out, and the kind of mind-blowingly good experiences, both content-wise and performance-wise. And then on the flip side of that coin, you've got just terrible, terrible releases at the same time, one after the other. It doesn't seem like there's any middle ground, man. It seems like it's just either it's going to be good or it's going to be just terrible. It's really weird. But like I said, we still got a lot of time left. We'll see what happens. But dude, Remnant 2 is a banger. This game is really, really good. Can't recommend it enough. I think I'm at I finished the game yesterday at just under 60 hours played. Just under 60 hours played. Worked my way through the campaign. I paid just over $40 because I got a bit of a discount on this game through Green Man Gaming whenever it released. So you're talking about, I thought the game looked great. It felt great. Story was cool. All around, just a great experience. If you, especially if you like loot and shooters, and if you like Soulsborne games too, this is going to give you those vibes. And I mean, you can't really. I mean, nowadays where you're seeing a lot of like AAA games come out at $70 price points for the base game, and you're only getting 20 to 30 hours of gameplay. This is a pretty good buy. Even at the original price point of $50, I got 55 to 60 hours worth of gameplay, and I was thrilled throughout the entire thing. I had a great time. Give me one moment. All right. Same goes for the game I played right before this also, though. Talking about an indie game and Dave the Diver. Dude, I will keep promoting Dave the Diver. An indie game where I pay you, it's $20 on Steam. And I got roughly 50 hours of gameplay just beating the main story of that game. And I don't rush my games or anything, but I don't feel like people should rush their games, to be honest. So I got 50 hours worth of gameplay. It still had plenty more to do in the game, and at a $20 price point. And it was just an amazing experience too. So both of these games that I just finished playing, Remnant 2 and Dave the Diver, I can't recommend enough. I'm always hesitant about Gaming Bible. They like doing clickbait titles. Let's see what this is real quick. Okay. Does look like these are probably on Steam, so we'll talk about that. What's up, Wednesday? How you doing? Yeah, we've talked about this. All the current gen consoles are starting to price drop on the base models because we got new models coming out specifically for PlayStation. They know that Nintendo's about to drop a new console within the next year, trying to get people to buy in on that. They're halfway through the life cycle. So you're also starting to see new bundles come through on current gens like Xbox and PlayStation. So where you would get these bundles with a lot of extra content at the same price you would have gotten the base model previously. So just look around. You can find deals on the current gen consoles at this point. Hanging out, word up. It's good to see you. We've already got that up. We'll talk about that. That's wild, dude. I mean, this isn't really necessarily video gaming news, but thieves stole is it 300,000 in gaming trading cards at Gen Con? That's nuts, dude. How does that happen? It's crazy. I want to see the Twisted Metal show. It looks like it's going to be really good. I just watched Mortal Kombat. I just watched the latest Mortal Kombat last night for the first time. I hadn't seen it yet. It was decent. It was okay. Still think Carl Urban should have been Kano. I think I think that's the play, dude. But apparently he's going to be Johnny Cage in the upcoming film. I don't know. Ah. Wait, what? Baldur's Gate 3 non-lethal attacks are accidentally killing important NPCs. Oh no. We'll take a look at that. That's fun. Well, yeah, the Epic Game Store stuff. I've talked about this. I keep promoting it. You've got about 3 days left right now, 2.5 days basically. Bloons TD6 and Loop Hero. These games are free right now. I'll be a broken record right here. If you're not a PC gamer, you should still be grabbing these. Even if you're more into like a specific console or something like that, you're not a PC gamer. There's no reason why you shouldn't be going and creating a free account on Epic and grabbing these games for free every single week. At this point, I'm somewhere between 250 and 300 games in my Epic Games library, and I've only purchased like 3 of those titles, and all of them are pretty decent to absolute AAA top tier titles. So even if you think you'll never be a PC gamer, if you like video games, there's a chance at some point you could be in the future, especially with the fact that like handhelds are making it easier for people to get into the realm of PC gaming, stuff like that, lower price point, easier consumer products to deal with, things like that. So go make yourself an Epic account. At the very least, go make an Epic account. It's free. It takes just a couple of minutes, and then just start grabbing your free games every single week. That way, if you do become a PC gamer at some point in the future, which I think is the right place to be gaming currently, console gaming is kind of scummy for a lot of different reasons. You'll hear about it, me talk about it a lot if you hang out here in here enough. But if at some point you become a PC gamer in the future, you'll have a lot of games to start playing. And these are 2 great ones to go ahead and grab right now. Bloons TD6 and Loop Hero, these are games that you should grab. Coming up in about 2.5 days. No, it is about 3 days from now. Europa Universalis 4 and Keeping an Eye on You. These will both be replacing Bloons TD6 and Loop Hero as the free games for the upcoming week. All right, so get your free games. They have a desktop app. You can go to their website. It's easy. Create an account. Start grabbing your free games. It's a no-brainer, guys. Do it. Yeah, we got that up. We'll talk about it. Yeah, apparently the Asus ROG Ally. We've read a pretty in depth reveal, and apparently the Asus ROG Ally is a very good customer friendly device. I think the big thing that you're going to have separating people who buy this or buy a Steam Deck is price point. Steam Deck's got three models at price points varying from basically like $400 to $650, something of that nature. And the Asus ROG Ally is more like a $900 to $1,000 price point for both of their models. It's also a newer hardware device, and it, um, you know, it just depends on what you want out of it. You need to do some if you want a PC gaming handheld, these are the two top tier devices that you should be looking at. ROG Ally or Steam Deck. And you just need to do some research. I can give you some direction, maybe if anybody needs some advice. But self education is a great thing, goes a long way, and I can help lead people in the right direction. But really, you're going to have to do some digging on your own to find out what's really going to fit your budget the best, fit your gaming needs the best, thing of that nature. But they're both very good devices. What? Dude, I was just talking about like where is my reptile love for Mortal Kombat? I feel like reptile never gets any love from Mortal Kombat, dude. And I have always loved reptile. I don't know why. I love reptile, dude. Uh New Mortal Kombat 1 trailer shows reptile, Ashra, Havoc, and Serena. Nice. Sick. Let's look at our other search real quick. Poggers, dude, reptile. Sick. I didn't really like the way he was portrayed in the movie though. Just like he looked like Croc from like Batman or something. Like just not as big. Or the he just looked like a big alligator or something. Yo, Davey, what up, dude? What's going on, brother? Dude, we're playing this tomorrow. You're confused about what, brother? WrestleQuest, man. I really wish we were going to be able to start this today, but it doesn't release for like another 16 hours. So we'll be starting this tomorrow. I'm very excited to play WrestleQuest, and I'm not even a big wrestling fan. I whenever I was a little kid, I enjoyed some of the like pro wrestling stuff, but that was it. But I do. I mean, I appreciate the athleticism. Those guys are insanely talented athletes. It's not something that I've. It doesn't really appeal to me as something to um, for entertainment. But this game looks like a banger, dude. And the fact that it's got an entire RPG aspect to it, where you're able to have your own character, work your way through meeting all these iconic wrestling legends, build your player out RPG wise, go through this entire campaign. All the characters look like you can probably see it a little bit right here. They've got little bolts in their arms and stuff because they all look like action figures. It's really cool looking, man. I can't wait to play it tomorrow. Yeah, he's talking about like um all the questing and stuff. Is that really where it's like not making sense? Because it's it's definitely one of those games where it's a large game. It's a large game. A lot of CRPGs can be this way. And I think it's something that if people aren't familiar with CRPGs, quite often, because it doesn't it doesn't just lead you from like one quest to another necessarily all the time. Quite often, actually, what it'll do is just you run across like different quests in parallel all the time, and it's not necessarily very straightforward as to how to like get them all figured out or anything like that. And it takes a lot of searching and figuring out and backtracking. And you don't understand how the ability points work or the talent points, really? What do you mean? I would have to go back in and take a look, but I don't remember it being overly complicated, really. I don't remember it being that way, anyways. It's a good game. It's a good game. You just have to, I think that it's a very it's a modern take on very traditional CRPGs, and if CRPGs aren't necessarily your jam-a-lam, you might not like it that much. Takes too long to explain. Okay, yeah. Um, it could be a bit of a deep dive if I was to get into it right now during the news segment, so I probably won't do it. But if you want to hit me up on like Discord or whatever, there are plenty of other people that have played Divinity in the community too. So if you have specific questions, we can probably help. There are plenty of people in our community, dude, that have played Divinity, and I would just need to go back and take a look real quick at the difference between ability points and talent points, and like I can kind of see it in my head, but I would just need to refresh myself real quick before I would be able to like talk you through it intelligently and not just kind of like I don't want to lead you in the wrong direction or anything either. So we've got plenty of people that have played the game though, dude. If you just put a question in the Discord or whatever, we'll be able to help you out. One of the best Game Pass titles leaves PC on August 15th. Let's take a look. Dude, here it is. Square Enix share price drop amid claims Final Fantasy 16 didn't meet their expectations. Yeah, I kind of figured this was going to be the case for them. It sold very well early, but it kind of dropped real quick for them. And I don't think this is a bad game at all. And I've talked about this a lot with different people. I don't think this is a bad game. I just don't think it's a Final Fantasy game. I think it is a game that they made basically like Devil May Cry, something to that effect, and they slapped a Final Fantasy skin on it. So they threw they threw some chocobos in there, they threw the summons in there, and they're like, "Hey, it's Final Fantasy," but it's not really Final Fantasy, and I think that's where they lost a lot of people. Some people didn't care. I think a lot of people did care. And so I think it's a well-developed game for what it is. Apparently, the people that have played the game have enjoyed it quite a bit. But I think that when you're talking about developing and releasing a game called Final Fantasy and what you're expecting out of a big, big title like that, right? Because Final Fantasy is a huge series. People expect certain things. And I think they've stripped away the core of what people expected out of Final Fantasy. So does it mean that it's not a good game? No. But does it mean that it's not necessarily a traditional Final Fantasy game? Yeah, I think so. And I think that's turned a lot of people off from necessarily buying into it. Whereas usually, even a, mediocre experience in the Final Fantasy world sells very, very well because it's still a pretty good RPG, deep RPG. And this isn't necessarily a deep RPG. This is a combat action game. I don't even want to call it an RPG because really what they put in there is not very RPG-ish. And you take that away, you don't really have Final Fantasy. I think that's, and again, I'm not trying to take away from the fact that it could be a good experience. It's well developed from what I understand, but it's not what people expect out of Final Fantasy. I think that's the problem. We'll take a look at it. This is so weird. The whole Magic the Gathering thing. You just lost patience recently. Why game mechanics are the way they are. That's okay. I mean, here's the thing, dude. I think it's important if you're not having fun. We talk about that a lot, right? If you're not having fun, and look, I've had trouble with that too. But overall, if you're not enjoying your experience with a game, there are plenty of other ones out there, right, Davey? I know you've got a backlog, brother, just like I do. So it's okay. You gave it a shot. And if it overall just seems like an experience you're not going to be able to enjoy, because that's a long game too, dude. Divinity is a long game, man. So play something else. Play something that you'll have fun with, or go try something that you think you'll have fun with, and see what's up. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no, absolutely, I don't mind. I don't know, man. The whole Magic the Gathering thing, I feel like they just the mashing up of different universes into Magic is kind of weird and odd. I think it takes away from the uniqueness that Magic has always had. You try to start polluting this universe with other universes and stuff. And look, I mean, video games have good mashups. They work very well sometimes. Sometimes they don't work well. And I would like to know, because I played Magic the Gathering as a youngster, and I would like to know how traditional Magic the Gathering players feel about this. People that have stuck with the game for a long time, how they feel about this kind of thing. Getting Fallout, Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy. Uh, they even did a collaboration with like Fortnite, dude, which is weird, man, in my opinion. But I don't play anymore, so I don't know that my opinion really matters all that much. If I remember correctly, you can. It doesn't limit you to only putting 1 point in each type of weapon. You have to have more points to put in there to keep pumping that specific weapon type up, right? Sometimes you're just going to have to sit on your points and not use them if you want to, because it's like, if that ability or whatever is at a base level, and it's only going to take like 1 point to level it up, but then like maybe the next time you want to level it up, it's going to take more points than that to level it, right? It won't take just one next time. At level 2, it might take 2 points to level it up to level 2, right? So it takes more points each time to get the abilities up to the next level. I thought it said that in the game, but it might not. And that's just part of the progression of those types of games and keeping playing them. And sometimes you have to sit on those points that you gain from the level ups, because you know where you want to put those points for those characters, but you don't have enough yet to level up because you need multiples, right? It doesn't say it. Okay. Yeah. So that's the way that works. Yeah. So originally, from going to like level 0 to level 1, it would only take 1 point. Yeah, Nightmaker, what's up, buddy? It's been a minute. How you doing, buddy? Yeah. I think we all knew that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to be good. It's not like it's necessarily a surprise. That game's been early access on PC since like 2020. I think. So people have been diving into Baldur's Gate 3 for a long time. I mean, the thing is here is there's no release date yet for Xbox, right? So PS5 is getting it in roughly a month, and they don't have any specific. I think they've already said they're working on a maybe Xbox version, but there's no specific release date right now for an Xbox version, unfortunately, man. So there's no telling how long you might be waiting, dude. Which kind of sucks. I'm good, man. Family's good. Yeah, we're doing good, man. Thanks for asking. How about you? What's up? Uh, yeah, Davey. So, if I remember correctly, that's the way that's going to work, man. So it's a matter of um, you need multiple points to increase the levels of those abilities. So if it's level 1, it's probably going to take like 2 points to go to level 2. It'll take 3 points to go to level 3, 4 points to go to level 4, like that. So you have to like stockpile them almost. You know what I mean? But I think like certain levels you'll get like multiple ability points or something, and there might be a stat that or certain things that there are talents as well that can give you more ability points each level you gain or something. I don't know, man. I need to go back and look at it. It's been a minute, but there are ways to get more ability points per level or occasionally in leveled ups and stuff. So you can get some of those abilities leveled up to a higher point a little bit quicker and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, it's not just one ability point per each iteration of leveling it up. It takes like basically double or the number of levels that you're wanting it to go up to. It might even double sometimes. I don't know. But that's the way that works. I would have to go back and look, dude. New Terminator Resistance complete edition launches this October. Let's take a look at that. Okay, weird. Yeah. Yeah, Nightmaker. Yeah. I knew they were working on it. We had read that Larian was working on the Xbox version, but they weren't sure how long it was going to take to get it all sorted. So, yeah. It was smart of them to release the PC version early and stick with the PS5 version for the same date Starfield releases. Because PlayStation users aren't going to have Starfield to play at that point. But if they release Baldur's Gate 3 on PlayStation at the same exact time, then that'll give everybody on PlayStation a big nice game to play. It was a smart move by Larian. Um, yeah, Davey, I would have to go take a look at it, dude. I'm trying to picture it in my head, but it's been a little bit, and normally that's the way it works in that game is like the more you level up a specific ability or whatever, the more powerful it gets. Like it'll do certain things as you continue to level it. I think the highest you can level up something's level 5, if I remember correctly. So like whether it be like a weapon or a magic type or what have you, I think the highest you can level it up is to like level 5 or something like that. Um, but each next level up of it, up to level 5, does some kind of extra. Like maybe for a weapon, it would be like an more damage on the attack, and then the next level could be increased crit or something like that. I think something like that. But I would have to go take a look, buddy. Yeah, I'm sure there are a bunch of resources online. I just can't remember specifically exactly how it all works off the top of my head, man. But I do remember that it's something along those lines. In what way, Nightmaker? How do they tweak it? We've actually got some Baldur's Gate 3 stuff up we're going to look at in just a moment. Assassin's Creed Universes Beyond officially announced. If you didn't know, Ubisoft has scrapped all kinds of other games that were in development. Like they had Immortals Phoenix Rising, the second iteration of that game that was well in development. And apparently game testers thought it was really, really good. They scratched it. They totally canceled it. But they have like 11 Assassin's Creed games in development right now. I mean, everybody knows, everybody that hangs out here very often knows, you know, the way I feel about the whole Assassin's Creed thing. There's just too much, dude. And Ubi is struggling a bit. They have been for the past couple of years. And apparently this is their answer to their struggles. Don't do anything new. Lean even more on the things they've always done. And I don't know, man. I just don't know how anybody gets hyped for a game whenever they just pop them out like candy, dude. We'll talk about that, though. We'll see what that is. We already talked about the free games on Epic. This was bad news, dude. It's a bad look. All right, let's go ahead and dive into these articles. Dive into these. Mortal Kombat 1 trailer. New Mortal Kombat 1 trailer showcases even more new characters. Reptile. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Ashra and Havoc, as well as Serena cameo. Let's go, dude. Let's go. New Mortal Kombat 1 trailer shows off the Banished, which confirms that Reptile, Ashra, and Havoc, as well as Serena cameo, will be coming to the game. Let's go, dude. Check it out, peoples.
Earthrealmers aren't ready to see the real me.
So how does it work? You just shape-shift into anything you want?
I can shift only between this and my natural form.
Whoa.
Okay.
That I could take human form made me a
dope
freak among my people. I was terrorized.
So they actually are portraying him more like the movie.
You misread my intentions, princess.
Let's go, dude. I don't feel like Reptile has ever gotten enough love in the Mortal Kombat games, dude. I love Reptile.
I am Ashra, demon of the night.
I haven't either, Nightmaker. I've never played Assassin's Creed. I remember when it first came out, you know, and I thought it was intriguing looking, but then they just pump those things out so fast that it made it to where I just lost any real drive to want to play those games. There's so many, dude.
Astra and Syzos, come. The monks must prepare you for war.
You will accept chaos by choice or by force.
Sick.
One realm to
That was
free
dope.
another is a heinous proposition. One I won't let you fulfill.
Who's the little devil? Nice. Dope. Oh god. Turn away, children.
They're out for you too, Sizoth.
To catch me, they must see me.
Damn.
Oh, let's go. Let's see some reptile. Oh, that was sick. All the traditional reptile stuff, you know what I mean? Got the acid spit and the orbs that pull people in. He looks good though. I like the lizard version. Oh, T-Rex. That was dope. Alright. Sick, dude. God dang.
Elsewhere.
That was brutal. God. Nice, man. Sick. Yo, I'm so glad they're bringing Reptile in. This is going to be gnarly, dude. You see these extra characters they're bringing in? Like Homelander. God, dude. Wild. We already knew about that, though. Recent Mortal Kombat 1 trailer showcased the banished characters who have been, well, banished from their homelands. The trailer's description describes them as characters who can seek redemption or embrace chaos, which appears to be true for all of the revealed characters. Let's go through them one by one. First is Reptile, also known as Sizoth. He first appeared in the original Mortal Kombat as a secret character, and his last appearance was in Mortal Kombat 11, a cameo appearance. In previous games, his appearance was that of a humanoid lizard. In this game, however, he appears as both a human and a reptile, which is how he was shown off in the movie, too. Which, funny enough, I just watched last night for the first time. And I was like, it was kind of weird just seeing him as a reptile in the movie. Like, he was just a reptile. Unless I missed something, I was kind of like falling in and out, falling asleep. But his combat showcase shows him switching between his human and reptile form. His human form prioritizes martial arts, while his reptile form uses acid attacks. Second character is Ashra, another banished. First appeared in Mortal Kombat Deception, last appeared in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. She may look human, but she's actually a demon who has purged most evil from her soul and is now a demon hunter. She primarily uses her sword in combat, as well as light powers. Final playable character they introduced is Havoc, a cleric of chaos and an anarchist. Havoc looks dope. His first appeared in Mortal Kombat Deception and last appeared in MK11 in a cameo appearance. Havoc revels in chaos and will stop at nothing to have others embrace it. He has no qualms using his body parts in combat, as he can be seen in the trailer ripping off his arms to use as a weapon against his enemies. Serena is the trailer's last character and the newest cameo fighter. She's a demon that hides her appearance by taking the form of a beautiful woman, although in previous games she has undergone a redemption of sorts by teaming up with the new Lin Kuei. It appears that she is an enemy in Mortal Kombat 1. Very cool, man. Very cool. Here you go. Nice. One of Game Pass's best titles leaves on August 15th. Leaves PC on August 15th. What are we talking about here? Death Stranding. If you're not familiar with it, they actually gave this away not too long ago. I know during the holiday times on Epic Games, and I feel like they gave it away again not too long ago on Epic. So you should, if you're a PC gamer, you should outright own this game for free. But just in case you don't, Death Stranding, first released on PS4 in November of 2019, tells a story about a man who is trying to reconnect a post-apocalyptic while dealing with lots of supernatural threats along the way. Version of the game that's available through Game Pass is based on the July 2020 PC release, although it only came to PC Game Pass in August of last year. For the most part, Death Stranding is a game about delivering packages. It initially seems like a shocking change in style for the man behind the Metal Gear Solid series, talking about Kojima, but the connections become a bit clearer to me as I had to stealthily avoid BTs and saw the Metal Gear Solid V level of freedom the game gives players in making deliveries. To maximize profits from deliveries, I had to balance all the packages in Sam's possession, keeping a close eye on the terrain, finding the best way to get Sam to his destination without damaging much of the goods he's carrying. Yep. The best open world games make navigating through their worlds entertaining. That's almost the whole focus of Death Stranding's gameplay. While balancing packages might not sound that exciting, there's a fundamental intensity and satisfaction that happens with doing a delivery that I've never gotten from a game other than Death Stranding. Leaves Game Pass on the 15th. There's a little bit more you can read out of this article if you're interested. Supposed to be a very, very, very good game, by the way. Kojima, right? Kojima makes fantastic games. One of the better, if not best, developers in gaming, current gaming industry, man. Square Enix share price drops amid claims Final Fantasy XVI didn't meet high-end expectations. The publisher's share price dropped nearly 15% following its latest earnings report. I'll talk about this in a second. I talked about it whenever I pulled the article up, but I'll talk about that and maybe a couple other little tidbits here in my opinion. But Square's share price in Japan has dropped by nearly 15% following the company's latest earnings release. Publisher reported its Q2 2023 earnings on Friday, which stated that revenue had increased around 14% year-on-year, but profits had dropped around 65%. When the Tokyo Stock Exchange closed on Friday, Square's share price sat at 6,366 yen. When it opened earlier today, however, the price had dropped to 5,566 yen and stayed around this figure throughout the day, dropping to 5,457 yen at one point. This is the lowest the company's share price has been since May of 2022. According to Bloomberg, it's the worst intraday drop in 3 years. Bloomberg also claims that one of the reasons for Square's underwhelming financials is the launch of Final Fantasy XVI. Publication cites 3 separate sources who attended Square Enix's post-earnings call, all of whom claimed President Takeshi Kiryu said the game's initial sales, in Bloomberg's words, did not meet the high end of the company's expectations. Kiryu also reportedly said that slow adoption of the PS5 was also a limiting factor in Final Fantasy XVI sales, and that the end of hardware shortages should open up opportunities to boost off. Dude, hardware has been available for a long time. Okay, so this is, I think, hopeful thinking on their part. PS5 exclusive Final Fantasy XVI shipped and digitally sold 3 million copies within a week of its release in June, according to publisher Square Enix. The figure means FF16's release sales were roughly in line with those of Final Fantasy VII Remake's launch, which managed around 3.5 million copies in 10 days. The last number installment, Final Fantasy 15, remains the series' fastest selling entry with 5 million units shipped and sold digitally in its first 24 hours alone. This was across multiple platforms, however. Here's the thing. Yeah, we all know it sold well initially. But from what we have kind of heard and seen reportedly is that Final Fantasy 16 sold well right out the gate and then just kind of stopped. It really just kind of sales tanked on it. Again, I think that I know there are a lot of people that have enjoyed this experience, and I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I don't think it's a traditional Final Fantasy game. It's a Devil May Cry-esque game with a Final Fantasy skin on it. It's very shallow RPG elements, from what I understand. I haven't played the game, but this is everything that I grasp from people I've talked to, things I've read, reviews. I've taken a lot of time to educate myself on, without playing this game, what it entails. And I think it's a well-developed game. I think that for what the game is, it's a good experience for people that know what they're getting into. But I think that for traditional Final Fantasy fans and traditional RPG fans, for that matter, you're not going to get that out of this game. And I think that's why people realized after the initial release that for a lot of people, it wasn't going to be for them, because this is not a traditional Final Fantasy game. And I'm not talking anything about having to do with the change from turn-based combat to action-based combat or whatever. Look, Final Fantasy has been transitioning, excuse me, from like a turn-based, old school turn-based style of combat to more of a hybrid style and action combat styled game for quite some time now. And it's been embraced by much of the community. But at the core of what Final Fantasy is, it's always been a pretty decently fleshed out RPG. And from what I understand, this game is very shallow RPG. It's pretty. It's got a ton of cinematics in it. Probably too much, honestly. What I think that like the game's roughly 35, probably average 35 hours long, and you're going to be experiencing about 15 to 17 hours of cinematics in the game. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with some great cinematics in the game, but if I wanted to watch Game of Thrones, I'll go watch Game of Thrones. I don't want to be sitting for half of my gameplay experience, half of my campaign experience watching a movie. That's not what I'm looking for. If I want to watch a movie or a TV show, I'll go do that. I'm playing a game to play a game, man. Again, not that cinematics can't play a huge part in the experience and immersion for a game, but for a game to almost have half of its core gameplay, experience be cinematics is, I think, a bit weird for myself, at least. Now, there was something else I wanted to hit on here. Let me go back up to this real quick. Again, I think that them trying to blame this on hardware shortage is a bit far-fetched for me. We know that PlayStations have been widely available in retail for at least the past year. And so I don't know. I think this is like them trying to kind of project an issue onto something that's not really there anymore. And I don't see this getting any better for them moving forward. And what I will say is I think this is at least going to show Square that changing an iconic series like Final Fantasy into, obviously games evolve as we move forward. Technology evolves, gaming evolves. It's inevitable that some of these long-running series, there are things about them that are going to change. Like I talked about with the combat style changing from completely turn-based in the early days and even, to the mid days of Final Fantasy games, to a more action-based combat style, hybrid style, that it is now, into what this game has apparently become of just completely action-based combat. But when you take away the core of what has made a series popular over a long period of time, and with this game, you're talking about a pretty decently fleshed out RPG system, and you take that away, it's going to turn a lot of traditional lovers of that series off. Not all, but a lot. I do think that it's going to make them go, well, I'll probably skip this one. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. I don't care, you know what I mean, that you threw some chocobos in there and you threw some summons in there that are from the series. That's not going to entice me. That's not all I need. I need a Final Fantasy game to feel like a Final Fantasy game. And apparently this game just doesn't really do it for a lot of people that expected a Final Fantasy title. It's more like an action combat game skin, very, very shallow RPG elements, or an action combat game with a Final Fantasy skin with some very shallow RPG elements, from what I understand. And I think that's why it's probably not going to do as well as a lot of other Final Fantasy games have. Because it's not really a traditional Final Fantasy game. which is what people want out of a game titled Final Fantasy. New Terminator Resistance Complete Edition launches this October. Terminator franchise spanned more than 15 video games since the original film released in '84. One title which is completely unconnected to the films and yet has brought new life to the series is the aforementioned Terminator Resistance. This first-person shooter developed by Teon and published by Reef Entertainment released on Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One in 2019. An enhanced version also arrived on PS5 in April of 2021. Now, after 4 years since it hit shelves, the title is coming to Xbox Series X and S for its second appearance on a current-gen system. Terminator Resistance will be back, pun intended, with a complete edition for gamers to experience in its highest quality, launching on October 27th, and is one more in an ever-growing roster of AAA titles arriving that month. It'll be deemed Terminator Resistance Complete Edition and will bolster faster load times, better graphics, and an enhanced frame rate for Xbox players. There will be a standard edition, complete edition, collector's edition. Of course, right? Exactly 1 month before it releases on Xbox Series X and S, a free digital upgrade will be made available for Xbox One users who previously purchased the title. That's dope. The upgrade will include the enhanced version of the game as well as Infiltrator mode. Those wishing to get more features from the complete edition version can also do so at a discounted rate of $14.50 US at the Microsoft Store. That's pretty cool. That's good on them. Nice. Neat, dude. If you need more out of this, I'll link it. Assassin's Creed Universes Beyond officially announced. Okay. So I'll read this and we'll talk Ubi. We talk Ubi a lot because it's just, they are a organization, a developer / publisher that has seen better days, and it seems like their response to having maybe a couple of off years to a few off years here is to just go so heavy, even heavier on the titles that they always have been real heavy on anyways, which is off-putting for me, but we'll talk about it. Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed series is one that is constantly evolving. Evolved and then maybe de-evolved now that Mirage is taking a step back to the gameplay style of more early day Assassin's Creed, not only in the world of video games but in many other forms of entertainment too. As reported by Dicebreaker, the latest evolution in the Assassin's Creed series is into the popular world of tabletop card game series Magic the Gathering. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's what they're talking about. Okay. But added in here, also is not just them talking about this collaboration with Wizards of the Coast for the Magic the Gathering stuff, but other fan favorites, including Cassandra, will also be returning in a first-person Assassin's Creed game that will be completely changing the series' emphasis on parkour, apparently. Elsewhere, AC Mirage, the next major release on the way, it arrives on 12 October for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Yeah, taking the game back to its roots, as the game had apparently just gotten much too large for most fans of the series, coming from something like Valhalla. Here's the thing. Last year was the 15-year anniversary of Assassin's Creed, I think, right? 15-year anniversary of Assassin's Creed. At that point, there were, I think, reportedly 12 mainline entries and 17 spin-offs for Assassin's Creed. Now we know there are 11 more projects in development right now. Game-wise. It's just so much, dude. I don't know how anybody gets hyped about it, honestly. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they give enough time and I think that there's a balance. You don't want to wait for a series like this that's popular. You don't want to wait too long, right? You're not wanting to wait like 7, 8 years between each one or anything like that. It's a bit too much, right? But I think pumping out multiple games each year, it just goes, what are you even supposed to get hyped about? There's just so much of it, dude. And at the same time, it's not even just that sentiment there, but I think that if you're making this much Assassin's Creed content, I can't help but assume that the quality of it is going to be mediocre. You're not having, and don't get me wrong, Ubisoft is a massive developer and publisher. They've got a lot of resources at their disposal, but instead of bringing together this mass amount of resources to develop great experiences, content-wise and performance-wise for these games, and really working on trying to evolve these games to be even greater than the one before, the previous iteration or whatever. It's like, let's just see how many we can pump out. Let's see how much we can pump out, because we need to basically lean on this so hard right now. And that's another turnoff for me. I don't see where, they've got this being obviously Ubisoft's biggest IP, right? And they've always pushed these out often. And now it looks like it's getting even more polluted on a more constant rate with this IP. I can't help but think that if you're doing this much for this particular IP concurrently, this many projects for Assassin's Creed in parallel, you're not getting the best content that you can potentially do for maybe a few titles in various stages of development. There's just too much, dude. I don't believe that. I think that it would be better to consolidate these projects down, get as much resources as you can, evolve this game to the you know what I mean? Get it back into something that you're not releasing all the time. Make it to something you're releasing like every 2 to 3 years. Build some hype around it, man. Make sure that you're getting some solid content in there, man. And I don't know. That's where I feel like it doesn't appeal to me at all, because I can't help but feel like that's probably what they're doing with this. I don't know. Baldur's Gate 3 continues one annoying PC gaming trend. BG3 may be a fantastic RPG, but Larian Studios also decided to follow an annoying PC gaming trend that could have been avoided. Huh. So, Baldur's Gate, this is what they're stating here. This is Game Rant. Game Rant is saying that Baldur's Gate 3 also adopted a troubling PC gaming trend. Nowadays, there's a huge push for players to buy all their games digitally. And PC games have been mostly digital exclusive for years. With digital games coming comes game launchers, and for some reason, every game needs a launcher these days. While these launchers do not hurt the games much, they can be rather annoying for players that just want to jump into their favorite games. Baldur's Gate 3 seems to be no different, and that needs to change. I'm going to counter this in a moment. Valve Steam was supposed to be the primary game launcher that everyone used on their PCs. So many games would end up launching exclusively on the storefront and be integrated with all of its social features. This seamless connection helped make Steam the behemoth that it is today, and has made it a vital part of any gamer's library. It will likely be the primary storefront for PC gamers for years to come, but some games have made it a bit less seamless in recent years. While digital storefronts like Steam and Battle.net have existed for a long time, it seems like almost every major studio wants a piece of that market nowadays. Ubisoft launched Ubisoft Connect. EA made EA app. Microsoft focused on the Xbox app. Epic wanted to make the take Steam's crown with the Epic Game Store. Even studios like Paradox want their own launchers. Most of these launchers will never compare to Steam. The existence of them has made launching Steam games a bit annoying at times. Steam users want to play games from studios like Ubisoft must launch 2 different launchers before they can play the game. Clicking play on Steam only boots up Ubisoft Connect, which then boots up the game. This requires them to have 2 different launchers installed, 2 different accounts, and forces them to wait a bit longer before they jump into the game. Even studios like Paradox have forced this upon players, and every year it seems like more launchers arrive. BG3 is a fantastic RPG, but the fact that Larian Studios chose to adopt this launcher model makes the overall experience on PC anything but seamless. When players click play, the new Larian Studios launcher will boot up before they can jump into the game. The new launcher has Larian Studios' biggest titles, news, updates, links to the forums and feedback pages, and even a merch store. It also requires players to create a new account specific to that launcher if they want to use features like cross-save. The whole point of Steam was that players did not have to navigate hundreds of launchers just to play their games, but that seems to be changing. While these launchers are mostly harmless, they can often be a bit annoying and really have no need to exist. Nothing about Baldur's Gate 3 that requires a launcher. Its existence just feels rather strange. While it is relatively easy to disable it through Steam, it really had no reason to exist in the first place. Do they not? I don't know. I don't know for a fact. But let's just take a moment to talk about this and theorize a bit on. Here's where I'm okay with this. You know, the console world has gotten very gross in certain aspects of what it does because they control everything for the games. The consoles control everything for the games, right? So what does console do? Console does things like makes you pay to play online. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. So in the grand scheme of things, as a PC player, it's actually somebody who has played on all platforms throughout the entirety of my life, but at this point in time in the gaming world, I'm getting almost solely PC to where I almost solely play PC games because the console world is just becoming so scummy. If I need to deal with an additional launcher to play a game through another platform, whether it be Steam or Epic or GOG or something like that, and it's like, okay, well, you know, they want me to launch the game through their launcher as well or whatever, and I don't have to worry about things like paying an extra fee to play games online or whatever. And I have no idea, you know what I mean? I'm just like throwing out some stuff here for us to take into consideration. We want to gripe about things a lot, you know what I mean? But to be fair, on the PC side of things, I feel like this is where it's at right now for gaming. We don't have to deal with it as nearly as much scumminess as we do, you know, as game players do on the console side of things. Console's gross, guys. It's disgusting. They want people buying games over and over every time a new console comes out. Hey, rebuy your game because now it's Switch 2 and not Switch 1. Or, you know what I mean? It's like stuff like that where, you know, PC gaming, you don't deal with that. We haven't ever had to deal with that kind of stuff. Thank God. And at the same time, I mean, you know, all the consoles. Oh, you want to play online? You know, through our console, even though it should be something that's free because it should be something that's included with just buying into their platform. No, you want to play online, you're going to have to pay another fee on top of the fee you already pay to have your internet service, right? Stuff like that. And so, I mean, look, dude, I mean, I feel like you're kind of throwing darts right here at something to like gripe about. You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things, on the PC side, we're doing all right. it's a better place to game, in my opinion, right now. We don't have to deal with near as much scumminess from the console side, because the console side, they outright own their stuff, and they do everything they can, from expansion space on the Xbox that costs 300 to 400 times what it actually should for hard drive space, to, you know, flipping paying extra just to play stuff online, to having to buy games over and over and over again, even though you should only have to buy a game once. It doesn't matter. You should only have to buy a game once. If they make that title available on platforms moving forward, you should still own it and you should still be able to play it, rather than having to buy that game again on the new platform. This console is disgusting, dude. And yeah, is it fun? This is the issue that people have had for a while on PC. People like to gripe about this. Is it I mean, and they didn't even name them all. If you've got Amazon Prime, then you've got games on the Prime gaming platform. You've got games on GOG. You've got games on Epic. You've got games on Steam. There's EA Play. There's Ubisoft stuff. I mean, dude, we could go on and on and on and on and on. You know, you've got a plethora of games everywhere. But here's another thing about PC. Most of these platforms, from time to time, you get free games. You don't get that in the console world either, you know? So if I have to deal with an additional launcher or whatever, and who knows, man? I don't know how much research this individual did, you know, that wrote this article, but, you know, one of the things that Larian's doing with Baldur's Gate 3 is incorporating multiplayer for their game and stuff like that, maybe them having their own launcher helps to get that kind of thing done. Make sure people have their own account. They're logging in there. You're able to sync up with people. And they already talked about it. It enables cross-save. Who knows? Maybe it was easier for them to just make sure that everybody was doing their own account through Larian. They're maintaining it. That way, if you want to do cross-save stuff, it's done. It's taken care of through their own platform. You know what I mean? I don't feel like this is something that people should really be throwing a fit about. I know it's not a great thing that you're going to have titles across numerous different platforms. What I will say is that GOG, Good Old Gaming, is a fantastic platform for syncing up all of your accounts, most of your accounts anyways, so you can see what games you actually do own across all platforms. Their perfect world, you know what I mean? We would have just a nice free platform that imported all of our games, gave us all the best prices, PC, for any storefronts that were out there. You know what I mean? But it's just not realistic. And I think this is maybe just like trying to throw a dart at kind of having an issue with something, when really the glass is half full for us here, man. You know, the PC side of gaming, dude. We don't have to pay for all this crap that the other side of gaming has started trying to make people pay for, when you really shouldn't have to. We get free content all the time. The other side of gaming being console, that they never get, you know, stuff of that nature. So, I mean, look, man, glass is half full, dude. If I need to work with like a middleman launcher or whatever, it's not that big of a deal, honestly, in my opinion. Baldur's Gate 3, non-lethal attacks are accidentally killing important NPCs. Players are being taken by surprise. Interesting. BG3 features a non-lethal setting for attacks that should allow players to resolve conflict without spilling blood. Instead, it is seemingly killing NPCs outright. Games Radar reported on the growing lack of certainty among players over whether or not the setting is working as it should. As a passive feature, it is intended to knock a character unconscious as long as the player is unarmed or using a melee weapon. This is very important for paladins in BG3, as killing innocents breaks the oath that this particular character class takes. That's why you just become an evil paladin. Easy, right? Come on, guys. As a result, an Oathbreaker loses access to their Oath abilities, which would drastically change combat from there on out. So you just turn into a necropally instead. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. This is an option to renew the Broken Oath, but there is an option to renew the Broken Oath. Requires 2,000 gold to be paid to an undead knight. One player explained that though they wanted to take a non-lethal approach to a particular druid, BG3 then showed the cutscene with the dead body, and the game's quest log changed to reflect that he had been killed. Due to the volume of writing that is in BG3, it is possible the fact that the characters are considered dead completes quests without the necessity of creating new scenes. This, however, is still at the detriment of paladins, because players might want to stick to their Oath of the Ancients or Oath of Devotion subclasses until the end of the game. The 11 other classes in the game are a Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. A character called Lich is able to allow players to change their class at any point in the adventure, as well as resurrect fallen party members. That's actually wild. They'll probably get it fixed. But Starfield download size and preload date revealed by Amazon. Amazon's good at leaking stuff. Starfield's download size and its preload date have been leaked online by retailers such as Amazon. There are just a few weeks left until the long-awaited, it's roughly a month, long-awaited, highly anticipated game, which I think early access is something with the bigger editions. But releases worldwide, we're expecting leaks and tidbits of information to start flowing thick and fast as the window shortens. Revealed that Starfield's download size tops out at a hefty 125 gigs on both Xbox and PC. Be available to preload from the 9th of August. What? Arguably one of the most eagerly anticipated games in recent years. Many are praying that Bethesda delivers on that promise. The promises that have been made over the course of the last few years. Why so early? Jesus. Preloads? That's almost a month from the initial release date. 2 days from now is the preload date. That's crazy. I wonder why. Yeah, 125 gigs is big. We figured it would be big. Over 1,000 fully explorable planets, more side content you'll ever realistically be able to complete. Makes perfect sense there's such a hefty preload window for Starfield, given that millions of gamers will be logging in to enjoy the game on the day of its releases, which is September 6th. I guess, dude. Yeah, apparently you can play it 5 days early and get a bunch of bonus content if you pay $35 or pounds for the digital upgrade bundle. Which basically gives you access starting on September 1st. Look, this is a test for Bethesda. We'll see how they do with this game. They haven't had a great past, I don't know, 6 to 8 years for releases. I don't trust them. I'm anticipating the release of this game to see how they do. There are a lot of great Bethesda games out there. Many people are, love Bethesda for the games of old, and rightfully so. But we need to see Bethesda do better. I think that's a given. And for people to be, I'm definitely not buying into the gimmick of give me early access. I'll wait and see how this game does. This is one of those developers that, I'm a little bit sketched out by nowadays. And I get sick of seeing these developers do these kinds of gimmicks for get early access, 5-day early access, pay $35 over the price of the base game and get early access for 5 days. Is that worth? Even if the game plays well, probably not. I would say definitely not, actually, for most people. And then you still don't even know if the game's going to play well on release. So I I think that more often than not, these gimmicks for early access to get you to pay more, to buy the game early, to get in there early and play and stuff, it's not worth. My recommendation for most people is to just, no matter what the game is, give the game, if it's not a developer with a great track record, especially, give the game a day or two. See how reviews are coming out for the game, what people are saying. And, there's just too many games that release nowadays that perform terribly on release. And you shouldn't be getting scammed. So don't let yourself get scammed. Sifu gets last update. Final update for Sifu, but it's a big one. It's a bittersweet time to be a Sifu fan, as the game is nearing its ultimate end with a huge final update. Players will have one last reason to visit the game again from September 7th onwards on the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. By the sound of it, it's going to be a glorious final fight. Glorious! What is Sifu? Universally acclaimed and beloved martial arts video game from 2022, developed by the French studio Slow Clap. Since then, it has received numerous updates to further expand the player's experience. Sadly, the final content update for the game is just around the corner. It's definitely a big one, promising the perfect ending for such a fan-favorite game. Arenas mode in Sifu. Final content update for Sifu includes a huge new game mode called Arenas mode. According to the official Slow Clap press release, new section of the game will further expand the world and its boundaries, introducing players to uncharted territories. These new locations will feature intense fights and battles against foes that fans of the game are already familiar with, including standard goons and big bosses, along with some surprises that no one would have seen coming. Further adding from Slow Clap, 6 new dynamic arenas, 75 thrilling challenges. Comes with plenty of high fun modifiers and cheats, along with in-game character outfits inspired by film and cinema. Adrenaline-fueled journey for its loyal fan base, which will apparently push the player's martial arts skills to the limit. Slow Clap continued that players should brace themselves for coming across zombie-like enemies, doppelgangers, and interactive environments. Exciting new elements will test the player's reflexes and strategic prowess like never before. All of these features promise an unforgettable final run for fans of the game, which is just over a month away from release. They didn't include it, dude? What's wrong with them? So the final update for Sifu is going to release on September 7th for multiple platforms. It will launch at a later date on the Switch. Let's look at YouTube real quick. Two days ago, huh? Let's take a look at this. This game is supposed to be very good. They've got some other stuff for the arenas gameplay, stuff like that, so you can go check that out on YouTube if you want. And here's that article. All right. Last article I have for the day, guys. And then we're going to go play some games. I don't know what we're going to play yet. Probably Remnant 2. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, God. Dude, good stretch. Woo! Apologies. looks like if anybody has anything to add that I haven't covered for video gaming news, then let me know in chat and I'll address it before we move on. Okay. Steam has 9 free games available. But there you go. There's your link. go get your free games if you're interested. All right. All right, man. That's the news, guys. Let's. Whoa, 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 dude! My connection just tanked, guys. Sorry. Hold on. Let's get this segue back out of here real quick. That was pretty brutal. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Are we good? Are we okay? Hold on. Dude, my connection just tanked. Yo, sorry about that. Sorry. Should be good though. If it's frozen, here, let me just put this in chat. Cool. All right. Good news segment. Sorry for the disconnect there for a second. That was a bit weird. Hope everybody's having a great Monday. Hope your weekend was good. We're going to go play some games, but if anybody is getting to check out this content today for the first time, we always start our streams off with video gaming news before we dive into whatever gaming content we have for the rest of the day. We're live 6 days a week. We don't do Wednesdays right now, but we could get back to 7 days a week streams in the future as I get caught up on some stuff. So right now, 6 days a week, no Wednesdays. Start off at 6 a.m. CST. We always begin with video gaming news, and then we dive into whatever gaming content we have planned for the rest of the day. We've got all of that content from previous streams, news segments, gaming playthroughs, clips, highlights of funny, crazy, wild stuff that happens here in the community and the streams. All that stuff always goes up on the Twitch channel as well as the YouTube channel. So if you're enjoying this, go check out some of that other content. And if you're liking what you're being exposed to, come hang out with myself and the rest of the people that make this community such an amazing place for us to be every single day. And enjoy being part of what we do, man. We'd love to have you. So other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday. We're going to go play some games now, but we'll do it again tomorrow for August 8th edition of Video Gaming News. All right?